Hello everyone, after what feels like 100 years break from building a Sylvanian Families house, we are back in full force and installing parquet floors. Yes, the very same parquet I think I showed you printing on my 3D printer. It's time to glue it up and position it properly. It's printed with filament mixed with wood fibers, so I think after a bit of weathering it's going to look phenomenal. In this episode, unfortunately, you will be seeing wood glue a lot. I think after this video, Patex might as well sponsor me. Sorry about that, I'm still learning how to film myself while working. It's very hard for me. But let's back on track. We will also be installing a ceiling with decorative elements, and I think it will add even more coziness and elegance to our interior. Alright, listen up. I'm not very experienced with UV resin, but I dreamed of having colored glass in the door frame of our house, so I decided to take a risk. I've got finger protectors just in case, and I'm picking colors, green and orange. I mix and mix and mix and mix until the color feels right. And then boom, I pour it in. I thought I had secured the frame really well. I was working on a piece of plastic, taped everything up, and in my head it was supposed to work really well. But even here I could tell something was off. Still, once I started, I had to finish, and we will figure it out somehow. The UV flashlight was very slow, so I put it into the machine I use for curing resin prints for a few minutes. And then I peeled off all the protections, expecting the wow effect. And well, as usual, not only does it not look great, but it also spilled over the edges. But I tried to save it, of course I will. I trim off the excess, and honestly, it was kind of satisfying. But the inside looks awful, so I decided to cut another frame to glue it on top, which will cover the spills. I also added glass panes to the doors here, and they were supposed to be resin too, but I decided to not risk it for now. And I glued the hinges on with super glue because I was afraid that nails would split those tiny doors and make things even worse. Then I moved on to cutting the inner frame for the doorway. I made it from white cardboard. It's really nice to work with. And after gluing it on, I use a rotary tool to clean up all the rough edges and imperfections. Before installing the door, I decided to add wallpaper to the wall section by the entrance and also finish the decorative ceiling, just to get it out of the way. Of course, I couldn't resist and already designed some furniture for the interior, arranging it in my imagination, but back to reality, it was time to finally install those awful doors. From a distance, they don't look that bad, but maybe once I add a porch, it will look better. The porch is also made from white cardboard. I really like working with it. For the porch floor, I made a small rectangular block. And for the roof, which I of course filmed badly, I made a triangular prism. Let me show you how it looks so far. I also went back to the balcony because I was missing the brackets to support it. So I 3D printed exactly what I wanted. If you would like custom elements like this for your own houses, let me know, I can help, of course. And then I painted the shutters and the bare roof started bothering me, so I went back to the porch and decided to make roof tiles. They are made from corrugated cardboard, cut into small pieces. I did this in a diorama last year and it turned out great, so I'm hoping for a wow effect again after some weathering. Finally, I installed the shutters, pressing them in with wood glue. They are just decorative. After cutting all those planks for the facade, I didn't have the mental energy to make a slatted floor, so I printed a texture on sticker paper, cut it to fit the porch, glue it on and sealed with acrylic varnish. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit lazy. Here I'm refining the balcony slab. and back to corrugated cardboard. Because I still didn't feel like cutting more planks, I decided the porch perimeter would be painted corrugated cardboard, like tiny semi-circular boards. While the paint was drying, I was focused on the brick foundation, painting each tiny brick one by one, and one by one, and one by one. See that on the left side? That's part of the porch base drying. And oh, I also made a fireplace while I had the paint out. Alright, let's glue on that cardboard. And done! But I couldn't avoid cutting sticks. I had to cover the front to match the rest of the house. It was small, so I managed it. One plank after another, second after the first, third after the second, fourth after the third. And then trim pieces to make it look even better. And corner trims too. They didn't want to stay in place, so I forced them with a tape. We will stick with the porch a little bit longer because I'm making columns with balsa wood strips. Unfortunately, the pieces were too short on their own, so I had to cut smaller sections to get the right height. There were a few construction disasters, but I managed it. Then I realized something was missing upstairs. The little balcony over the bay window felt empty, so I started building a small roof frame. In my mind, it was wooden, matching the terrace roof tiles, but now I'm not sure. I need to think about it. Then I made some decorative molding for the terrace because I wanted it to be a bit more ornate. I added small elements to create layers and detail. I really enjoy making this little house, and I tell you a secret why. Whenever I work on this house, I watch RuPaul's Drag Race in the background. You might even catch it in a corner of my monitor sometimes. Right now I'm watching season 18, but I've seen all the main seasons. I'm always amazed by how many skills those men have. They can move, dance, sing, do makeup, style hair, be flexible enough for those iconic moves, sew outfits, and plan the showtime. That's honestly why I watch it, for inspiration from how many skills people can develop and refine. And I really recommend it, though I get that it might feel a bit overwhelming if you have never seen it before. Meanwhile, I was thinking about the porch railing and I caved. I decided to 3D print balustrades overnight. I'm so sorry. But by the morning, they were ready. I checked the fit and started removing them from the build plate. I will leave the sound in because everyone loves that peeling sound. Okay, let's back on track. I made the railings wooden, so not everything would feel overly fancy, and then I moved on to the painting. I really enjoy painting those elements. To be honest, I don't have a very detailed plan for this house. I'm just going with my gut. If I feel like I will like something, I start creating it. But next time I think I need to plan it more because this build is taking way too long considering how much time I spent thinking about the aesthetics before actually working. I also painted the roof and the attic walls. Of course, Barbara had to check everything and show her belly to the viewers. And I kept painting. And here is the result of this stage. We already have part of the facade and a basic ground floor interior. I think next we will work on the roof, then move on to the interior, and finally came back to the porch and facade. So that's the plan. See you soon. Stay safe and cozy, and bye!